um, can help certain people. If you're already good with launching, I don't think that you really um, like need this one. I think that you probably already know about certain thing that I'm sharing in here today. But one of the problem of network marketing is how we duplicate our skill sets, right? We can know 10, but what make like a leader become bigger than some other leaders, the way how they systemize it, how they if they know 10, how can they able to make their downline also know 10, right? We have a lot of great leaders in the world network marketing, but I guess that what I'm doing in here is just kind of like systemize a little bit more and is make you guys understand a bit more about how to not just work hard, okay, but also able to work smart a little bit as well. And it it a bit about the reflection. Um, if you guys ever see I'm doing any training about techniques, it really much all about my reflection. Okay, the reflection that along the way, whenever we do the process, how we figure things out, and this is probably also a bit about follow up with the training back then I was doing. So back then, I think that 1 year ago we were doing a training about whole process. We talked about bonding and stuff, right? And Leah was writing down the whole entire map formula, you know. And then first time we introduced about meet my mentor, right? Meet my mentor, meet my leader, and then I think that a couple months ago, then we were teaching about bold statement, right? Have you guys read the book yet? Have you guys read the book, Your First Sentence in Network Marketing yet? Okay, I hope that you did. Okay, and then now today, just a bit more follow up of those one, because along the way when we're doing the process, we also realize that there's certain thing that we're missing out from the training back then we did. Okay, um, so it's a bit more like advanced compared to just working like the basic one. And if you already listened to my training back then, I think that it's gonna make more sense for you now. Or if you've been doing the process, you can listen to a whole lot of my training, but at the end of the day, knowledge with the application, it doesn't really mean anything. Um, I think that like unless that you also going out in the battlefield, the one factor that never change in the way how we're doing technique is that you need to have work ethic. Okay, this cannot really remove any like work ethic that requirement for you to go platinum, to go diamond, but it's only enhanced and maybe make you think. I'm not saying that you need to do exactly like how we share, but if our training tonight can make you kind of like thinking and reflect a bit about the way how you've been doing the process for a long time, you know, then I think our job is already done. And our goal is not just um, really teach you exactly what to do and how to say with candidate, but more about the mindset. I'm trying with the skill sets, but reality is what I know in here is very hard to transform by just words and able to help you guys understand exactly what I'm thinking in here, right? But I'm gonna try my best. But tonight, so after this, you can do a bit about Q&A, and then I'm gonna do probably like 40 minutes sharing a bit about the skill sets, and then we can do Q&A, and then after that, I'm gonna share a bit more than just skill sets. Okay. Um, all right. So let dive into the topic that we're talking in here today. Um, I do believe this is what I share in my leader group chat, and some of you probably already heard about it. It's not just about doing the work, okay, but like really reflect along the way when you're doing the work. Independent business owner, as somebody that we need to really adjust and figure it out. The difference between our business and employee is that for employees that you always just need to listen to your boss, and whatever doesn't work, your boss is gonna be the one gonna deal with it. Okay. But in our group in here, every one of you, you are um, like the boss of your own business. Maybe when Phil trying to do the training for me, um, because like his background and his situation were different than me, then whatever I understand is probably gonna be a bit different than other like guy who actually listen to his training. And then maybe what worked for him is not really what worked for me as well. Okay, you understand what I'm saying? Because even though we both came from Vietnam, but I came from a totally different background and field. Like all of his family, like already like kind of like had high education. His dad is a teacher, and then a whole entire uncle and then auntie, everybody is like working in the education. In my family, I'm Chinese Vietnamese. I um, like my family don't even speak Vietnamese, even though we from Vietnam, and I never really good with talking with other people because I've been um, talking in multiple language when I was growing up, and I never really had an example around me to guide me. This is what people skill really mean, right? So the way how apply what he been teaching me back then, it didn't work. So it made me have to go a bit of extra, like compared to him to really figure out the pattern or maybe the formula that work for me. So what I'm trying to say is that different person in here, you're gonna able to create your own formula. Okay. Um, um, a business owner they think different than an employee. Okay. I share this in my leader group. I say that if you look at the coffee, like coffee store, right? Let's say if Leah is my employee and I'm the business owner, right? So what Leah thinking is that the amount of like hour that she worked in my store, because the more hour that she worked, the more money that she get, right? And then what she thinking is that how much the customer gonna tip her, right? Because the more they tip, the more money that she bring back home, right? So that is the mindset of an employee, okay? But as a business owner, I'm the coffee store owner, then I'm gonna need to think about um, how can I make the menu better? How can I make the matcher more catching? For taking picture. The location, do they have a backdrop? Like in my store. How do I able to increase more of the good review in Google, right? And then if it's successful, then I'm gonna thinking about franchise. I'm gonna thinking about how to like like guide more of their manager to make them understand what I'm doing so that I can be free, right? So business owner, the same industry, the same coffee store, but employee thinking different than business owner. Okay, so business owner always figure it out, and like I think that it's not just about the amount of years that you in the business. One of the um, I think that one of the like the objective objection for a lot of especially senior IBO been in the business for 4 or 5 years and they always having this kind of problem. Man, I'm in the business for 5 years. I'm in the business for 10 years. Still now, I'm still not diamond. Still now, I'm still not Q12. But it's not just about the amount of years that you're in here. Okay, if every year you just be the same person, repeat exactly the even you have work ethic, but your work ethic is still the same thing. Like back then, even like people complain I've been launching, but why my team still stuck at that 20 people? Like every month you've been adding people in, and then your number is still 20 because you still lead them the same way that 2 3 years ago you've been leading them. So unless that you change the mindset, unless that you change the skill sets, or else no thing gonna happen. So it's not just about the amount of years, but the amount of growing, right? Like yesterday, Tiffany was saying that it's the joy to change, and from your when you change, then there are change, right? So so today is one of the example how I think that me and Leah, Leah been amazing, like been booking so much appointment, you know, like for this week alone, I think that she already booked more than five like appointment by herself already. But it's worth the adjustment, the reflection, the changing that along the way because we make a choice that we want to go diamond in the next 2 years. So the same thing. We can teach you a lot of amazing skill. Personally, for me, it's not because I'm arrogant, but I do really think that like our team carry on like one of the best skill sets in the whole entire brick wide because we're trying to figure out new things. Right? If you take a look at like and during certain kind of comparison with many different other team, our team is probably talking about momentum also great. Talking about diversify is also great. Right? We literally can able to build a team with multicultural in here. So there's certain things that we've been doing right. Okay. Um, but let's get into the main thing in here today. Okay. I want to talk about appreciation. Okay. Um, and then I'm gonna explain a bit about the why. Okay. Um, I think that if you walk candidate along the way in the process, okay, if at any moment or if you work a candidate in a process and your candidate doesn't feel appreciate you or appreciate to the mentorship, then you won't able to have a launch. Okay, doesn't matter uh, like how many steps that you do, how sharp they are. So the name of the game is appreciate because without appreciation, they might just get an Amway account, right? They say that no appreciation, then no activation. Okay, so like there's a difference between launching an IBO than launching just um like an Amway account. Okay, because an IBO they get in and they want to do stuff, right? And if you launch um just like normal people and they don't really treasure their opportunity or maybe even your time, um, then it's won't work. Okay, so if you realize it's really much the reflection along the way. When I was teaching you about both statement, when I was teaching you about, I think that one of the great thing of our group is that we've been adjusting, we've been seeking for more ways to relate, to really connect with the candidate better. We're thinking about bonding. We're thinking about how to like do mid momentum and stuff, right? There's a good thing. Okay, there's a good thing, and also bad thing. When as a big team, we provide so much of the support for the candidate, right? Because there's a good thing is that if they come and they appreciate our time, and then they do feel like those is they do feel like those environment are great. They treasure the friendship in here, right? It's connect with them better. They can open up better with the bonding, the barbecue, and all those kind of like going arcade game stuff. Okay, but then also a bad thing. Okay, the bad thing is that if they not appreciate, they might feel like, oh, you always that is the job of the upline. Always have to go an extra mile to like make them feel happy along the way in the process. Okay.
Maybe they thinking like, oh, why are these people very good to me? You know, yeah. Like what's the catch?
So, um, I want you guys to understand it's not just about doing more bonding. It's not just about going out, spend more quality time with them. But the question you have to ask is that if you do those bonding, if you spend those quality time with the candidate, are they gonna appreciate it? And I think that appreciate is not just work with only candidate. It's actually applied to every single one of you in here as well. Because at any moment that you are no longer appreciate my help or your upline, the mentorship or this business, then your mind suddenly gonna jump bunch of negative, like coming around, the same business, the same person, but you're gonna think that why um, like they're gonna be a bunch of objection coming along the way. Why should you do this business? And then you always seeing problem. So I think that is not just about just candidate, but it's also like for IBO as well. So appreciation is always a part that go all the way till you go platinum and diamond. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be the reason, like it's not about a dream. It's not about the big goal in life that we're more ambitious than other. It's about that. Are you still appreciate? Are you still like having that um, like that like kind of like friendship with your upline? You want to be here with them. That's why you still here, right? I think that even now today, me and Leah, we want to go diamond. It's not just because money. The big part is because we appreciate. We appreciate our upline. We appreciate our downline, right? So it's gonna be the same reason that because along the way, how can everybody in our business can dream big? Oh, not always gonna be like that. And then we always have problem along the way when we build this business. But unless that you're having that gratitude in you, then that is how you overcome all the objection, all the disagreement, all the ego problem, and you change. Okay, so gratitude is the key. Okay, having appreciation is the key. Okay, but when I'm talking about building up appreciation, a lot of people probably misunderstand that it's mean about building posture. Okay, so in my team there are two types. One is like focus on building a lot of friendship with the candidate, spending a lot of time. Another one is that keeping a very high posture, and then they don't have friendship. They don't candidate doesn't feel related in their job, and the person that building so much friendship and the candidate take you lightly, and then they also doesn't want to do business. They only want to be your friend. Okay, so um, you have to understand that building up, if like appreciation, is not about having more posture. For example, having more posture, people they misunderstand this. The thing that make other people appreciate is by just promote a function. Oh, you know what? Sugi gonna be there. Have you ever heard about Sugi? He gonna do a ball plane in here. He's a multi-millionaire. If you don't come, like if you don't come over, then you're gonna miss the best. Okay, so that's the difference. When you promote like that, mm, it link like it's a like I've been doing that one for a long time, but then I realized that they don't really care about Sugi. Okay, um, so appreciation is when you learn to add more emotion for your invitation. Okay, or maybe along the way when you're doing the process. Okay, so that it doesn't make it sound like it's just a big event. When you like, what does it mean by adding more emotion? So let's say if Sugi doing a ball plane, in Toronto, then what I'm saying is that hey, just want to confirm, are you 100% sure that you're gonna come to the meeting like tomorrow? Because I'm gonna need to talk with the host to see if there's still any spot left. Okay, and then I come back and say that, hey, I talked with the host. They still have like 3 more spots left. Um, I can get you a spot, but are you sure that you're coming? Because I'm also having a few more friends that also interest like into the event as well, right? So if you cannot make it, please let me know. I don't want other people to miss this chance that I'm giving to you. Okay, so you add in more emotion into it. The emotion wasn't just about the event only, right? It's a big event. The emotion was like, if you're not coming, then somebody else they 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 miss that chance because I get that chance for you, right? So when you okay.
So what Wesley was just to kind of like reframe it a little bit. So what he's trying to give you an example is that because like how sometimes when you're confirming candidates to a board plan or to like any event, it could be a workshop, but you're in a position where it's like they tell you things like, "Oh, I'm gonna try my best to come," okay, but they don't confirm 100%. They give you like, it's like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna check and then I'm gonna let you know," or I'm gonna be like, "Oh, if I'm not doing anything, I'm gonna come." So they kind of give you like a positive answer, but it's not like definite. Yeah, and so you're often in a position where it's like when your upline asks you, "Oh, are your guests coming?" You're like, "I'm not sure." Like even at the day of the event or even like the day before the event. So a way to eliminate that is to do the thing that Wesley was saying by saying that, hey, I have a few people that's on the wait list. If you're not able to come, right, let me know so that at least I can, let the others get the opportunity or, something like that. So that way they have to give you a definite answer of, yes, I'm coming 100%. Please reserve that spot for me. They will have to come to that conclusion, or it's okay if they can't come. But I just don't want us to be in a situation that not in the driver's seat, that we end up in a passenger seat, have to wait for them to like let us know, and we have to always like text them, oh, so are you coming? That makes us feel weak. That left us in a position of it's like we're just keep waiting for them, right? So it's okay, like just to kind of like clarify that it's okay if the candidate cannot come, but at least they need to let you know ahead of time, and they need to know that okay, they're missing out, or this will be given to somebody else. Yeah. So.
Let me give you another example in life. Okay, I shared this with a couple of people before already. Imagine this. Okay, I think that this is not just to the candidate. This is actually to everything that you do. Um, Imagine, like let's say you have a crush on on a girl, and then you ask that girl, let's say for example, Leah, right? I asked Leah, we just got to know each other for a couple months, friends, and then I like her, and then I want to get to know her. Then I asked Leah, hey, Leah, are you going to be free this weekend? Let's go watch some movie. And then Leah said that, yes, I'm free anytime. Okay? Like, I'm available like any night. Okay? Imagine this. Oh, imagine this. As a guy, okay? As a guy, what do you think? Like not attractive. You're not kind of like, oh yeah, I do like her, but I feel like she not that worth it to really. You like you still go to the movie and then, but you don't appreciate her. And the moment when you don't appreciate her, then the relationship ends. Okay, like it cannot really get started. Okay, but also the same situation, also the same Leah, but this is what she say. Um, she might like me, and then she also free, but this is how she trying to be approached. Okay, and like she said, oh let me try to find time. Usually on the weekend, I need to go to church with my mom, and I need to have a couple of my cousins done with the homework. I had time on Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. Damn, the same situation, the same person. But how would you feel at that moment? that 3 hour is gonna be the best 3 hour. Like you like I'm gonna try to really get to know her and pursue her, isn't it? Right? So sometimes it it's just about the way how you use your like word that really create a different kind of effect when people look at you. Okay, it's not always on you available and like unless that it really can make other people treasure. I learned long time ago that if I have something that I don't just want to give it for free. You only want to give things to other people who actually need it and who actually appreciate it. If you give out things to other people and they don't appreciate, then the chances actually taking it is very low. Okay, so the chance to even want to go further is also very low. So it's the same situation. I think that a lot of people they miss that between being like being kind. One of the term that we use a lot is called people skill. Okay, and then a lot of people in my team, they I think that you are very kind. We have a lot of like peace phlegmatic in our team, and they don't want to make war with anybody. They want to live in a peaceful world, and they never want to upset anybody. And another way I usually call them is people pleaser. Okay, I don't usually want to say that way because many people would think that people pleaser is actually um, like a bad thing. But what I'm trying to say is that you are very kind. Okay, but if what you do is actually make other people like mistaken that you always available and you always easy, then they're not gonna appreciate you. Okay, and a lot of people pleaser they having a mistake that they thought that they have people skill. Okay, let me tell you what the difference between people skill and people pleaser. Okay, um, people skill are the one that like can share what they're thinking and they can um, they can addressing certain problem. They can make the conversation and they can share what they're thinking and they're not afraid of share it and they can address certain situation but without make other people feeling like offended. Okay, that called people skill. Okay, it's like they can share what like what been the body in their mind with other people, but they don't make the conversation go hash and then like count like end up become an argument. And if you share stuff and then at the end of your conversation and it's only end up with yelling at each other, more misunderstanding, then that is choleric. That is straightforward. Okay, it's not soft. It's not soft skill. Okay, so people pleaser are different. People pleaser they don't have they don't have problem. People they still lie down. They don't have any big issue with other people. But then at the same time they fail to share their point of view, like and to make other people like understand their perspective. And because of that, they like other people still not really know what the problem that they're having. Okay, so um, in our group we have a lot of like more in term of peacemaker, um, but you have to understand like that is when the moment that you also realize that you can listen to other people and you kind of like careful and worry about what other people think about you. Um, but you have to be very careful to really understand is that really like soft skill? Is that really people skill? Or is it that only, like people pleaser? Because people pleaser, you weren't able to make other people appreciate you. Okay, only when you have with soft skill, is the moment that it's gonna change the game. Okay, so with our process, let's talk a bit more about the candidate. I think that when you work the candidate in the process, for us, we've been having hundreds of candidates to ball playing, and we try to cut short the process because there were moments that we thought that maybe because we are too big and like we were thinking because we already appear on the stage and if we're too big in front of them, and then we might be like that person like so profound already. So if we come to them, we want to be genuine. We try multiple things, okay, and we sometimes we cut down the book shorter, and then if the book doesn't make sense, then maybe just invite the bonding. If the bonding doesn't make sense, maybe maybe only listen to an audio, and then it end up that we lower down, we compromise a lot of different problems from the candidate, and it end up they might show up at the ball playing. You might have a candidate, you might do both, like follow up one, follow up two with them, and then you still like, and you still so unsure, and then one day that the job, and then you feel like, oh, what did I do wrong, and you don't know where to start. Okay, so I figure out that the team, okay, the team that um, having good standard and don't compromise, is a team able to address more red flag and fixing the candidate along the way. So um, back then, sometimes we even say, "Oh, you can get the Amway account, and I'm going to introduce you to the group chat. I'm going to use crowd effect and stuff." But then I take a look and realize that those teams that having qualification, okay, qualification maybe like 10 MG1, they have to do 150 PV. But then the candidate when they enter the room, okay, when they enter your LOS, that when they really are like fully qualified for the mentorship, then now they're not giving up easy anymore. Okay, that is when I when I apply the same thing. I think that I've been applying this to Felix thing, and we've been seeing that certain change, right? We've been seeing that certain change, and then the person that the team that I think that got you can literally see that it's changing 100%. It's gotta be Brandon and Lucy team. Okay, so Brandon used to do like 20 to 30 MG1 per month, and he been doing that for 1 2 years, no launch. Imagine 100 like 100 MG1 every year. Okay, and no launch. They will launch, they end up and create an account, add in the group chat, they don't communicate, and been always have problem that why candidate doesn't respond to me, and then when I type in the group chat, they only seen, and then nothing changed, right? So we try to relay. We thought that the group chat, the bonding, the environment can help us, but then I told him that I called him. I talked about both center. Okay, I was teaching, and he was like he would realize that he been like trying to be kind and being nice, be available with the candidate all the time. But now, when he sit down with candidate, he no longer care about trying to do a perfect process. Like just get in with the attitude is that I don't know if this is for you. And then suddenly, when you don't chase the candidate, when you don't try to convince them this, like you should do this, then suddenly all the attitude of the candidate change. Okay, and they more appreciate. And then now, Brandon and Lucy thing, I hitting around like I think that getting close to 15 people now. Okay, so it's in only in a matter of 4 months from 2 people. Okay, hitting around 15 people. So obviously he's already his work ethic. Okay, because he's been doing 20 to 30 MG1 per month. Every single workshop they have 10 to 15 guests for a workshop. Okay, so the work ethic is already there, but it's only a bit of the twist, then things change for them. Okay, and then uh, uh, and then I also saw that Jonathan from TK team. Okay, the same thing. He been very consistency with work ethic, and now when the way that like he changed in terms of seeing like he kept like looking at the like when working the candidate process, they've been thinking about how to create more partial, change the verbiage instead of just like be kindly and teaching them everything. And then now his team is actually getting to 5, 6 people right now. Okay, I think like probably 3 leg, 2, 3 leg. So it's a big shift in terms of result with the same work ethic just because a little change. Like I think it's also helping you guys a lot more with your mentality when you work the candidate in the process as well. Because if we work a candidate in the process and we always have to worry how to make this guy feel good, do I try to always make you guys feel good? Well, I'm trying to, but it's not always. You know, my biggest one when I'm working with you guys is that do you guys realize that my help because a lot of my feedback is not just to make you good, but if you appreciate that feedback, then it's working for your business. Okay, so what I'm trying is I can give you the real advice, and because that when you change the way that you do a little bit, then you can be real to you instead of trying to please your candidate, and it's not you, and you feel so much of the burden when you're running along this business because you try to convince them. Okay, and then now it's actually make more sense. Then when we decide to then when you talk about the big word, if you don't understand anything, you only need to understand one thing: how can I increase the appreciation in my candidate? Okay, either to my upline or to the business, and then you suddenly there are bunch of skill sets, bunch of things that you can actually do with your candidate, isn't it? And then now it's also make more sense. Why you go to the meeting, you want to introduce a third party instead of you always had to like be the one like address them and fixing them like all of them because if if you the one just doing the work all of them, then they not really appreciate. But if you have a third person like Wesley and say that, hey, you know that Felix is one of the great leader in my team. Sometimes we need to have that, like giving power for them to understand that we are not free, and because there's certain things that we cannot say directly to our candidate, right? But then now you either you have a leader cross line or an upline to help you out, then it's actually help you better. Then now you understand why you need to promote LOS before you go, like your candidate come to the function. They need to know your upline. Then it's explaining why we need to talk about upline. Because they don't care about RP. They care about how you introduce like them into us, right? And then it's also explain more why we need to have meet my mentor. Okay? Because a lot of meet my mentor, some of the speakers trying to like create new stuff, but for me, on the meet my mentor, I do exactly the same, right? Probably Felix and Sally can listen to my mentor, probably tweet them, and they've been listening to the same thing, man, Wesley is boring, right? But then it's not about I need to do something different. I just need to be the third party because for them they can say the same thing because they've been listening for multiple times. They know they can repeat what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to tell the candidate in the meet my mentor. But if it come from them, then the candidate doesn't listen. Okay, the candidate doesn't listen, but it come from a new person, then they listen. Then it's also explain why in the function you need to invite uh, either upline or crossline leader come to do Q&A session for your team, right? So certain thing, certainly that you realize that a lot of things that we do in the business, there are reason behind it. Because it's not about a skill, the mindset is different. It's about the attitude of a person who listens to that is different because if they not appreciate, then whatever you're trying to say, it doesn't really make sense, right? So, coming along the way, I think that I don't know what kind of skill I can really teach you, but the moment when we change it, we see the way how our candidate is actually react to us. Okay, you got remember about Rosny, right? So Rosny guest of Leah last function, and then after the function, she was busy, and then she vanished for 2 3 months. Okay, but we've been applying like bold statement and stuff with her. I didn't realize about appreciation at that moment, but I've been like trying to figure things out and apply that bold statement, and then Leah apply in the candidate, and then even though she vanished, but then 2 weeks ago she texted Leah back saying, "Hey, uh, I'm sorry that I vanished. I wasn't there in like 2 months, but then now like I was having family problem, but now I want to come back." Okay, and then she been going back to retail with Kira and Arena. Okay, so the key when she coming back, we're gonna make it clear that we're still having a standard. Okay, we're not gonna just we're gonna go with you. We're gonna have you retail and make money and stuff, but there's still a standard. You're gonna need to book like 10 NG1 and done that 150 PV. Obviously, she already done 50, 60 PV. Okay, but then now you can see that the candidate, the way the attitude is different. Okay, so back then we kept like compromise a lot of different things. Um, like earlier this week, Leah were having a candidate on the MG1, and then um,
Yeah.
you want to share?
Yeah. So just an example, because I was the one doing the MG one. So like how I want to give you multiple examples. So before I share about that MG1, I wanted to give an example also of how does it look like that you're actually like a people pleaser when it comes to like treating your candidate. So if you're texting your candidate and if they reply with 3 sentences, but if you reply with a sentence, okay, then that means that you want the candidate more than they want you. So I want to give that example because sometimes you might not know that you are doing that, but that's the reality is that sometimes people get back to you, they're excited, but if you show them the level of excitement is like more than them, then actually they are no longer appreciated like before, right? So I know like a lot of you so this happened when you're very like Wesley said, you're very kind, you want to help the candidate, you want to be good to people, but just know that see when you're wanting to be good to people, but if they don't like they don't really understand the value of what you're trying to give them, they're not going to be appreciative, right? So hold your tongue, don't get too excited when you're talking to a new candidate, right? When even if they show the excitement, just nod, right? Like smile, normally, but keep your composure, right? Don't kind of like go like too enthusiastic, too fast. Sometimes we use the expression of sometimes when you go contact. It's so funny because usually when you get a contact, and have you guys ever been in this situation where you had a great conversation? The person even asked you like, "Oh, what's your business about? I'm really interested. I want to learn more. Can you tell me more about it?" And then you tell them more about it, but then when you go home, you text them, they don't text you back. I've been that. I'm a victim of that before. But then there's a scenario where you met this person, they didn't ask you what you do. They're not really interested. Okay, they're not really like show any like enthusiasm. But when you ask like, okay, hey, I like your personality, let's connect, right? Just very short, there's not because there's no obviously like you talk about other stuff, but not the business yet, right? Because they are not really showing that they want to learn more, but you still carry a conversation very like normally. Then for those people, when I go back and I text them, they still reply me. Okay, right? Compared to the one that actually be like, hey, you know what? I'm an entrepreneur. Tell me more about what you do. Blah 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 blah. And then at the time, I would get excited because I think that I met somebody who's looking, right? So sometimes you end up sharing a bit too much about your business. They ask, oh, how did you meet your mentor? all that stuff. You give them a full story, like for about 5 minutes of like how you met your mentor. They ask you, okay, so what exactly you guys doing and stuff like that, right? Yeah, so da 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 da. But then that conversation didn't go anywhere. When you go back, that you couldn't book a meet and greet. So the expression how we use say is that you talk people in and then you talk people out of the business at the same time, right? So I have to learn that I have to be calm and don't be too excited, and I have to be like, I have to be like, hey, you know what? I'll answer one question quickly, but I'm like, hey, you know what? I have to go right now. If you're interested, maybe we can stay connected, and we'll see if there's an opportunity coming your way. Something like
And
that.
sometimes at the bonding, I think that when we invite a candidate, to the bonding, a lot of us we're excited to just want to DTM fully stuff, right?
Mhm.
And then we promote that. Hey, you know that this is Wesley and Leah. They are mentor, big businesses, been financial freedom, and yeah. And then you bring to the upline and expect the upline gonna share everything about the business. But then reality is that if we share everything about the business, then they just not lose their excitement like at that moment. So a lot of time we can just go like, uh, oh, we actually do e-commerce. We have people with develop, like diversify the income.
The problem is, when you haven't identified if they are interested, and if you already share with them about what we do, then they're not gonna appreciate it, right? So
let them be the one ask you.
Exactly. We have to be in the position where it's like a little bit ambiguous. It's like they gotta be curious about what we do. You can't be giving it away too early. Yeah. So for example, go back to the bonding example, right? Or even like, sorry, we're just a bit all over the place, but I haven't finished with my contact example yet. But yeah, so basically, go back to the contact example. Another way to say is that sometimes, let's say, I can talk a little bit about what I do, but let's say if I'm in the mall, right, and I'm talking, and I give her a little bit, and then I would change the conversation to be like, oh, this is like, I would pick up a clothes or something, and I'm like, oh, this is really nice, isn't it? Right? Like I would change the conversation to like a different direction. So I wouldn't want to keep talking about business. Or the key is that I'll give you an example. How I learned this is that sometimes when I know that if I talk and they no longer making eye contact, that means I'm already failed. If they already look at a different, like they got distracted a little bit, and if I'm keep talking, then that means even if they're now saying that they want to learn more, but they lost that focus, that means I already talked too much, right? So learn to really redirect the conversation to to like a different thing instead of just stay on business. Now go back on the example of the bonding. The reason why at the bonding, when you guys bring people to us, you don't want to be purposely saying like, hey, okay, this is my business mentor and all that, yada yada yada, because they haven't asked. Let's say if they haven't asked, the best scenario is when when you put them in a position where they come in, they see you and all the cross eye, right, or all the people that's business partner with you, and be like, oh, how did you guys meet, right? They will ask that question, like, how did you come to know this, all these people? Then that's when you just say, oh, actually we're a part of a business team, okay, and you can stop at that. You don't have to DTM like the full sentence. Okay, that's when it gives room for them to be curious, and that's when, let's say, if they come and they see the cross line or they see us, then they can ask that, oh, yeah, how did you come to start this business group or something like that, right? But the key is at the bonding, you don't want to be like also DTM the full message even, okay, until you're going back home, and that's when you can follow up with them later. Yeah, so now this is the example of the mean read that Wesley was talking about, is that how many of you have done a mean read and then you send the book to the people, any book, right? And then when they send you the notes, right, they say they read the book, they send you the notes, but when you read the notes, you know that they're not really reading the book, You know, you know that they probably copy from Google or they do ChatGPT or something like that, right?
There's a candidate aspect.
I think a lot of you related to that. Now the question is, what do you do about it? Okay. Now in the past, okay, what I've done is that I would think that okay, at least the person wrote down something and showed me that they want to move on. Okay, there's two ways to think about it. Is that the first way of thinking is that when they copying from ChatGPT or whatever sources, at least it still show that this person is doing this so that they can move on the next step, right? So that's like the first scenario. So and I've been the past 2 years I've been leaning on that way of thinking because at least that showed me that they have the interest to move on, and then I can go on a meet with you, and then I can educate them again, or I can fix whatever they haven't understood that I want to fix, right? But obviously it didn't end well, and I think Brian had the answer because that's probably why his team is also growing. So that recently, when this candidate get back to me, what I did was that I decided to take a shot to address to see what will happen. Okay, this is like the first time I addressed on text. We haven't gone on a meet and greet yet. Okay, but I just said that. So basically, I said that thank you for getting back to me with your notes. I spent some time to read it. However, I felt like these answers are a little bit more AI assisted, right, than your personal understanding of the book. I would love to, really learn from how you understood, right, with your own examples or your own thought process instead of just, the definition or just like very vague, kind of like content. So I kind of like make it not too like too harsh, but basically I use ChatGPT. I use ChatGPT as well, right? So
ChatGPT is your soft skill.
exactly, yeah. So I was also had a problem with how to address my point without being too harsh. So I need to use ChatGPT for that. So I said, hey, can you tell this person that I know this is AI, and they need to read the book again. Okay, so that's how the ChatGPT taught me, and then yeah. So basically, I said that you ChatGPT, and then this person actually got back to me and say that thank you for letting me know. Right? She's also people skill. Maybe she used ChatGPT as well, but she said that I didn't know that you want to hear my personal thoughts, right? So that's why I'm just like, writing down mostly definition. But now that you pointed that out, I will definitely revisit the book and send you the answer again. Okay. Now, I mean, do I know that she's being people skill? Yeah, I do. I'm sure she did. She probably just took that from ChatGPT. But at least I made my point across, right? And she would have to reread the book, to move on the next step. Yeah, so then she actually did that, and then she actually sent me the answer as well. Okay. Now, when I do that, I remember back in the day, okay, back in the day when I actually did the process for Evelyn and James, I remember that, James, he didn't understand English much. So when I gave him the book household goal, and then when we come to the follow up, I asked him question, he couldn't answer anything. So I was telling him, hey, you're wasting my time. You gotta go back and read the book again, right? So I actually sent him back in follow up one to read the book. Same thing with back in the day with Julian as well. He had to really like, even if they use AI or they use like Google to read or translation, but they had to really make an effort of like kind of show the person that you really want the opportunity, but not like just in a way of just using ChatGPT only, but they kind of have to put in more effort, right? So now we're in the world that everybody use ChatGPT or use Google, but we gotta make them feel like we're not easy to be tricked, I felt like that's like the attitude that we need to have. We need to we're not gonna be too harsh to the extent that we don't allow them to use research or anything at all, right? And it has to be like a certain way. Like when she got back to me with a new answer, honestly, I'm not 100% happy with it. I know that she probably still not understand the book 100%, but at least I got my point across. And I know that, this way it's gonna make the candidate stronger. Yeah, so that's just an example.
Okay. Um, Coming back to this, I think that the attitude of your candidate will make them go further and it along the way do the process and just make it just sound like you're only available, you only be there for them, and somehow they not appreciate it, you will lose them. It's not just business, it's in life, in relationship, in everything. If your boss doesn't value you, he's gonna take you lightly. If your boyfriend or girlfriend doesn't value you, that's not the right person for you. If you're downline, not really valued, um, doesn't matter how much time that you spend for that downline, how much effort or the time that like I think that driving a downline back home is something very normal. Um, but I wouldn't want to do it if they're not appreciated. Right? I'm not afraid of doing like going the extra mile for my team, my downline, but it's only about do they appreciate their attitude along the way, right? If you have a great downline and they always appreciate, of course, like I always go extra mile. It's a like not a question thing. Should we have our downline? Should we go extra mile? But sometimes um, that is when people say that the mentor is always there when the student is ready, right? But I hope that is somehow gonna help you understand a bit more how to really bring up the value in you. Um, and a lot of time, I think that this is what I see for those ones that the more that we want the business, right? The serious, the more serious that when we sit down with a candidate, right? But then also ratio of you launching is less than the one don't care about the rowing from the business, right? I see a few down me don't really care about rowing, but somehow they book the MC1, they sit down, it just doesn't care about it, just chilling, and suddenly they had rowing, right? That is apply Felix back then, ex apply. That's why I see, she was having a very good ratio of launching. Like in the whole thing is crazy because when she sit down, she just doesn't care. Because she literally that obviously that's why she become ex apply, um, right? Because she doesn't care if growing the business or not, right? In Vietnamese, when in relationship they had this word, chốn tình tình chạy chạy tình tình theo, right? So in English, it's mean that the more that you chase a person, the more the person run away from you. Okay, the more that you don't care about that person, the more that person run away to you. Run to you. Right? Run to you. Sorry. Right? Run to you. Uh, so the same thing. How we able to have that mindset that we want to have a rowing business, but we don't want to let other people know that we're desperate for down the line, right? So you should have an attitude that if you get it, it's good. If you don't get it, it's also good. I don't care. And just a bit of carefree doesn't mean that you don't have skill sets, but you don't have to always attach and kind of like always have to remind and you have to communicate with me. Is this step good? That step good? I remember when I did an MT1 for Jonathan in Arizona. Okay, the guy was having great like both statement and stuff. He read the book fitness on time and stuff. Getting MT2 and beginning with building relationship. And then I asked before we even show more about the business. I was asking, can you go to the meeting? Then this is what the candidate was like. He asked, like, do you pay money for the transportation go from my dorm to the meeting? Then I'm asking, um, hey, any your job that had to pay for you to commute, and then he was like, oh, but can you tell me about the bills more first before I decide? Then I was keeping, a very like firm posture that I say unless that you like can really make it, or even if you cannot make it, what is the point for me to walk you in the process? Even like more about Amway and stuff, then like you're not gonna able to do this business anyway. So we end the MG2 like after 20 minutes. We didn't really show anything, right? So I mean, the candidate never text back, but at least he never like get negative at all. And one day they can get back to you with a better like condition, right? So at any point that you walk into the candidate in the process, you judge GPT to if you're not having good people skill, you judge GPT to help you address in a genuine way, okay? But you shouldn't be compromised with like some of the red flag along the way they're having in the process. You should have a strategy to really make them become better. Of course, that's where the mid-momentum, the bonding, and then the association is for, right? But at the same time, if you compromise, then somehow along the way, then it's gonna show back even after they launch, right? Um, I've been reading a lot of big Al books, and one of the common thing I think that if all of you should read Big Al book, that the book that I recommend, right? If you don't read, there's a reason why you don't have launch. Okay, but read. In all of those books, if you see one common thing is that he always mentioned from all the book that he wrote is that he doesn't want to sit down with a person that doesn't ask for the business plan, right? So for us, it's a bit different. Of course, we send a message, so we're the first person reaching out to them, right? But having an attitude, right? Because like if then now is actually explain why somebody only do an MG1 and they can feel like this is a potential. They can predict the whole process, even though at the early stage. With people like Evelyn, like Julian, you can see that they can predict the candidate at the very early stage because they look at the like attitude, the attitude of the candidate at those steps, right? Because if if in the step that they been the one that asking you and showing appreciation, they're gonna go further in the process. Okay, of course they're gonna be objection you need to cover, but your chance of the ratio of you doing like having lungs and having those side leg is increased significantly. Okay, so if you don't understand any skill set because we don't write down, we don't script, we we don't really put any like conversation to really tell you. But one word you need to remember is building up appreciation for your downline. And that one you got to read these two books, okay? So Tom Big L.
Big
I
L
want
and
you
the Build Trust Instantly. That's the two.
Go Tom Big L books. I've been promoting about Icebreaker for a very long time.
Icebreaker.
This is the book
How
that
to Build Trust and Report Instantly.
I think that's the book before.
This is the book gonna Icebreaker is gonna be the book that can help you book appointment without losing candidate. Right, that's the first one. Without losing friend without afraid of your friend gonna put you down and stuff like that. Right. The second book that your first sentence.
You read it. In the process.
Oh, in the process.
First sentence. Okay, first sentence for network marketing. That's the book that 2-3 months ago I was promoting. And then the next one I want to talk about
in my Amazon
building.
Vote it.
Report.
Yeah. You can ask me.
No, I brought it inside.
Okay.
That's where the books at.
The
books.
Wait.
And then after one is the building trust and rapport.
I need to get back my
friendship. Wait, not this. Let me try to find the name of it.
But do you think that
Uh,
having culture to make them appreciate you has something to do with your
yes, in my
current
kingdom.
finance and your team as well?
It's
Let me try to find my kingdom. Give me a
Or
second.
like how they see you, like your finance. How
No,
you
it's
see
more about your
one, right?
belief in your ability to.
Oh, yeah,
more
instant
candidates,
trust
even though if the one we
and
do the
belief.
process right now won't show up. Like you don't care if they show up or not. Like you still have something on already.
Okay, 3 book
Also,
icebreaker,
like,
your first
what you
sentence,
mean?
and then how
This
to
is
get
what I
instant trust
hear
and
from what you
belief,
say.
influence, and rapport.
Based off
Okay.
your finances, based off the
Um,
team, what you have right now.
It's become one of the whole
And
package
if
that
the candidate comes in or not,
I
you don't care.
it's
Based
for
off
me. I
those
Yeah.
think that by now,
Because you
after
have
reading
a
this
strong
book,
finance and your team is very
my
big, so
my
you don't
process
care
become.
much about the
uh,
candidate, but you focus more on
I think that
internal
I'm
growth.
finalized about my
Like what
formula
can you do?
in the
I feel
process.
like that's a
Like with
belief.
this
Yeah.
probably the
But
last
it
book
depends
that
on your belief. I
I
feel like
want
it's
to
not
add
like your
in
finance
to
or
your
your team,
like formula
because
package
that
that's
was come
launching
from
people.
character
Okay.
trait, which is the belief.
If you
That's
read
how I
this
believe.
3 book,
Like, how can you
I
believe in
can
something that's not
I
good
do see that
for like new people?
even though we promote about this, but this doesn't mean
Good question.
everyone really
That's
study
why you
about it.
read the book.
But through my experience, those ones who actually going back and
You see,
study those
that's why
ones
you
with
need
the
to read that book.
with the work ethic,
That's easy.
they all come back with and show me the result in a different way. I can see personally from me, I can see from Jonathan, I can see from Brandon, Lucy, right? Um, Even though they just read the first 2 book, but with this one, it's gonna complete. I hope that it's gonna complete your skill sets to help you sponsor at will in this business. Okay, we can do some Q&A with the skill sets.
Oh, yeah, your question. You can ask.
Okay. So Q&A starts now.
Yeah. We stand up.
Okay. So one question I have is like I already know get the main point what you're talking about. Like we gotta make sure like
Yeah, come in.
Just go ahead.
You want to
we
turn?
gotta make sure like the
Okay.
candidates. We only
We
really
report
follow through with candidates when they see respect and want to really follow along with us. Meaning we really lead by example, continuing what they're doing, and we only just look to the side when the candidates just try to run up behind us, trying to catch up. But yeah, so what I wanted to ask about is something else you mentioned at the beginning is that if we lose the appreciation, we still grow as much as we can in our business, or more we start to break off. So how? What do you mean? How do we build appreciation within ourselves for this business? Like you said, mentioned before, add in emotion to the events.
So you mean that how do we build appreciation with candidate or with you?
With me.
I think, but your question is a bit, into candidate and you. I don't really get it.
Oh,
So I was I want to get to the main point. My main point is this: how do I build more appreciation in myself, like me? How I appreciate Kira, you, and Leah, and John, and the whole BWW team. How can I build up my appreciation for everyone?
It's just a bit about reflecting and look at you now and then compare you with,
Maybe somebody else can answer this question.
and then compare you with you in last 2 years ago. There are certain things that if you realize that if it's not because the business, the job that you're having, the personality and your content not gonna happen. So if you realize and be a bit aware about what you're having now, then you will link up why you're having those ones, and you're gonna have your appreciation. Okay.
So that's how I build appreciation.
Yeah.
That just follows along what I just like put in my AM this like before this meeting.
And sometimes by just reading more book, it also realize that
I think sometimes people have problem with connecting the book to themselves. So, in that scenario, I think what you can do, Jonathan, is that you can go to, whenever you go to a function, right, or whenever you go to the meeting, you can seek for a reference point. You can ask about the people, how let's say like how what changes do they see in themselves, when they build a business, right? When they first start a business to where they currently is, for example, right? Just to give you that reference, and also sometimes I think like appreciation for our own, for where we are and the people in our lives. Sometimes it's also we need to hear from other people story, like their struggles and things like that. Because sometimes you might think that some of us might have a very low level appreciation for our uplines or for this business, because we might feel like, oh, we haven't get any growth from here, or we haven't get any success from here. But if you are actually like learning or hearing from other people's story, sometimes like Wesley said, right, the growth could be coming from the job, right? The growth could be coming from personal development. Or sometimes a lot of people have like more struggles in their life, and yet they still choose to pursue this business, or they still choose to be with their upline, right? Fight for their upline's goal and things like that. Maybe you need to like seek for some story, so that you can have more reference point for yourself.
Appreciation is contagious, which means that it's got influence. It's like having like more ambitious. I think that one of the things I would suggest that you, because you back then having condition problem, but now you should go back to more of the meeting and then the function. When you hang out with more of the right people, you're gonna see the different story, like Leah say, and then it can influence you in the right direction. Yeah. So if you're looking back, it's a bit like just follow the Nike step. It sounds boring when we always talk about it, but they call it the true north. Okay, the true north is basically back then in Brit Worldwide they had a series of audio that's called True North. Okay, and bunch of audio about True North, and all of them only talk about Nike step and four basic. It sounds like mundane and repeat. But without it, because there's one of the candidates that were asking me, some of the meetings were repeated, same slide and certain topic is actually like repeated. I told the candidate that there's a reason we go to church.
Mhm.
We go to temple every week, because on mine they're having some toxics. If you leave it alone, it's toxics come out.
That's what I learned. Wow.
Then
Change.
you need to detox your mind.
Saturday.
How you detox your body is one time every
week.
like one good
I was like, wow,
like day every week. You need to really have enough sleep so that we recharge, right? So your mind, the same thing. You need to recharge and refresh, right? And the same thing, those kind of meeting, those actually the objection. A lot of new idea they have. Why do I still need to go to meeting and stuff like that? I don't do this training in here for you guys, but I hope you can understand your new launch having those objections. Okay? So sometimes we go to church, even though we know it's repeat, same topic, but we go so that our mind can refresh. The ball plane and the pace act like that way. It's not always act like they need to guide you new stuff. Okay? But anyway, I think that's a good one. Let's move on to the next question. I still have a lot to train. Okay, just to let you guys know, other stuff as well. So let go with Oscar.
Okay. Hello, Wesley. Hello, Leah. Thank you so much for taking the time to train.
Oscar, you still survive?
I'm better than ever right now, Wesley.
You still alive?
Yes, more than alive. Trust me.
Okay.
I just had a question. I wanted to go back to Leah's example. So Leah, in your example, you said, let's say your candidate, texts you with one sentence and you reply with 8. Right? It shows that there's a lack of appreciation. So how would you approach that? Would you go back and apply both statements to regain that appreciation? Because I know, especially if you're a guy texting another guy, it's not very often that you do a lot of texting like that, right? So it's common to see 1 or 2 line responses, things like that. But like, how would you approach that?
Yeah, that's a great question. Okay, there's some candy in my mouth. I have to take it out to talk. Okay, yeah. So now regarding the example of communication, I think this is something I've done in the past as well. So I think it's all stemmed from having the right mindset and just know that the fact that when you tolerate something, the candidate's not gonna get better. So it's better to address with skill than tolerate it, because when you're addressing with skill, there is a 50% chance, right? Either the candidate will get blown away, right? Or they have a 50% chance of getting better. So this is the mindset that you have to go about it when it comes to, basically adjusting or addressing any issue, because a lot of us has a fear of confronting candidate, right? And so I mean, if you're feeling like so, and this is about, how do I put it, is that now in the it also has to do with the amount of candidates that you have, right? The how abundant you are. I'll give you an example of, let's say, in the beginning of the process, okay, I would be more lenient because in the beginning, obviously, you're still getting to know them, they still getting to know you. I'm talking about, I would say, like before the meet greet one, or it's like in between a phone call and meet greet one. So basically, if you haven't gone into the meet greet one yet, and you're in the process of booking them to the meet greet one, then that's when you have to be a little bit more lenient. You have to be a bit more patient, and it's okay for them to, let's say, reply to you maybe like after like 1 day, or even 2 days, because you haven't gone to the appointment with them. But at the appointment, the meet greet one, that is when you say things like, hey, I'm somebody who's very communicative and, accountable, right? So one of the very important criteria that when I'm sitting down with someone, I really want to work with someone who is sharing the same quality, right? Or, who's also as communicative as I am. When my mentor texts me, I will use this example. I'll say like, oh, when my mentor texts me, I've always replied within 2 hours, because if somebody doesn't reply within 2 hours, for me, that's somebody that's not, appreciating of this opportunity, the way that I do, towards the mentorship that I have. So yeah, that's like obviously at the end of the meeting, right? Like, I've already built relationship, all that stuff. So it's important that you have to set the right expectation of what you're expecting from the candidate, right? So that will give you the leverage to later on, let's say after that meet with one, you send the book, right? Already they are reading, for example, whatever, and then this is when, like, that they are in the process already. So let's say now you text them and you're saying that, let's say they reply to you pretty late, or they reply to you very small sentence. It depends. So for me, let's say in the guy's perspective, if you're also talking to them less, then it's okay for them to do the same, right? Yeah. So there's no problem with that. Now, for me, the amount of talking is something that has to do later on, because that's also require a little bit more trust, to share more vulnerable things and stuff like that. But for me, the timely manner of how responsive they are is more important in the beginning than the amount of content that you guys talked about, right? So for me, let's say if they are replying like very late, that's when I will say it. I'm not gonna address it like very harsh, but I'm gonna say that, hey, it seems like you're pretty busy these days, it seems like it took a while for you to get back to my text, right? Then I would just wait for them to see what they have to say. But again, ChatGPT, right? I'm just, giving you what I'm saying, but you should revise that with ChatGPT. But the point is, you should bring that up. Now, something I also learned from Evelyn is that regarding the amount of conversation or relationship, something that she's doing after the board plan is that in the follow up, I think she will bring up the aspect of, hey, to me, or even in Ming Greek one. So if I feel really vibe with them, I will say things like, hey, the purpose of the selection process is for me and you to get to know each other, right? Would you agree that friendship, and trust is more important than, it's the most important when it comes to partnership, right? If they say yes, right, which obviously they do if they want to move forward, then that's when you have to say that. That's when you have to say that. So that's why, for me, I'm not asking you your resume. I'm not ask. And even I know that you don't have the skill set. So for me, to spend the time with someone to teach them or to introduce you with my mentor, right? I want to get to know you as a friend. I want to know if I can trust you. I want to know if we share the same qualities, all that stuff, right? So the main point, you gotta make it clear
It's like
that,
half cold,
hey,
half hot.
you don't want to have surface
Is it
conversation
my
with
love
them
is
only. Yeah, like that's something I said to my candidate too. I say that, hey, you know what? I know this is odd. I'm asking
My
you
room is
more
cold
about your
for some reason.
family. I'm
It's
asking
cold
you
in
about your
reality.
goals. I'm asking you about,
I like it.
how's your, relationship with your
Because
parents,
I'm hot.
which I don't
Oh.
think probably any interviewer will ask you
No,
that
body
before.
temperature.
But the point that I'm bringing this up is because I don't just want to hire you as an employee. I want to form a long term relationship with you, right? And so that's why um, you know me and you, I'm gonna be vulnerable to you. I'm gonna be, I'm gonna also share, part of me to you. But I would also want you to reciprocate the same. Yeah. So that is something that you gotta really lay that expectation in the beginning. If you're looking to eventually, let's say, if they don't do the same, then you can kind of like bring that up, right? But if you haven't said that in Mean Greet one, and then a lot of time the people going into this process would assume that we're also like a recruiter, or we're also like a like a boss, right? So they would want to just maintain a professional relationship with us instead of like talking a lot about family or different things. So yeah, so that has to do with how you set the stage in the beginning.
So this one we say at MG1 or we say after board plan?
Usually I say it in the MG1. In the MG1, of course, only different for different person. In the MG1, usually I have that same thing. The way how I'm doing MG1 is I always have a folder of questions that I want to ask in the MG1. I have more than that, but I wrote down one or two bold sentence along the way, and I like sometime at the beginning of the MG1, I ask them, hey, what do you think is the most important thing if we ever do business together? They might say product, business, company, or and then people. And I say, you're right, you say people. And because that, I might ask you and want to get to know more about you, to know your personality, your character. Because for me, that's gonna be the trait that how I'm gonna decide who I want to work with. The character. And most people they only want to know about the what and the how, but for me, I want to know more about you. So are you okay if I'm asking you a couple more questions about you? So you're gonna hear something like that along the way that you want or in the PC. So it can set the stage for you to jump in and become an interviewer. Okay. I mean, we don't want it to be like job interview, but the more you be like on the interviewer, the more that you're gonna be in the control seat, and because of that, they're gonna. I figure out the more question you ask them, the more they become better, right? So that's how I see it. One of the things is that all of you in here should build a habit of coming to headquarters.
You are
and listen to different people's appointment.
Mm.
Ask them, hey, how did you able to book the NG1? Can I see your convo? Like,
No.
if one training can really give you exactly how to say with different people, then I would be diamond.
Yeah.
I saw you.
So
talking
so
to
sometimes we
people
say it in the minute one, but sometimes we don't have the chance, right? We might say it later. We feel like we're not really vibing that well with the person.
I can do a training for you, but when I like this is what I'm understanding, how I'm trying to get you understand. But when I do it, I might do a bit different. Okay? Because different case, different scenario. So it's always better for there's a reason why we call it headquarters. So if you see anybody, like in headquarters and doing an appointment, ask them, hey, or even in your upline platinum, then ask them, can I get one of your report or two? So able to hear different. You're gonna see it's very different. Sometimes people like Evelyn, they can in the MG, in their follow up one, they can ask, why do you think that a lot of people think Amway people speak? They let the candidate answer the question, and if you good with friendship already, like you like she can in the follow up one, if you feel like you can be like buddy with them, asking tons of silly questions, then you already know that is a launch, right? So sometimes it's about being close. There's no like there's no wall in between you and that candidate. You know that it's very safe, right? So there are multiple ways, but bottom line, if you read the 3 books that I told you, then you see a couple of things, of technique you can put in your MT1, and if you listen from order, okay. Yeah, moving next.
Thank you so much, Wesley and Leah. Very detailed.
Yeah. I'm gonna be quick in this 2 questions because I still have 30 minutes I want to share with you guys. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Angelia. And Wesley and Angelia, so much for the training today. My question, I think I have 2 parts. The first one is, do you think that in order for us to have the mindset to have to set the posture to teach the candidate on how to appreciate, it has something to do with the size of our team and also our finance, because so we have the peace of mind when we do the PC. So it's more like I don't care if you move up or not because I know what I have already. If
Okay, no, the answer to that one very quick is no. It's not about the size of your team, the size of your pocket. It's about the size of your confidence. Okay, and the size of your confidence, you know your value. Like after this, I'm gonna talk about how to increase value in life. Yeah, so I'm gonna follow that. I might answer a bit short. It's not because I want to cut you guys, but I just want to get into the point so that I can jump into the next one. Okay. So Derek, next one.
Okay.
No, you finished Derek. Did you finish your question?
Yes.
Oh, I thought that the 2 part.
Oh, if the first question is yes, then yes, the second answer, the second question.
Oh, okay. Then no more question for the second one. That's good. Okay, I've been there.
Yeah. Thank you, Wesley, Leah, for this training. First of all, so my question is, I noticed this in my last year of business here was that when I was in a big slump and I wasn't doing very much of the core IBO skills, like core IBO activities, like going out retailing and doing the volume part mainly, but I was doing my AMs and other things. So while I was doing a lot of appointments at that time, so I wanted to ask you that, okay, to make them appreciate about the business, how do I, like when I am in a slump in my own business, how am I able to make them appreciate about the business, but I'm not in that state where like, okay, I'm not doing very well, but I know that I need to do my part of showing that, okay, this is a really good business, I want them to appreciate about it. But yeah, and I myself do that, but it's just that my situation is a bit different, and that, but I still want to do my part. Yeah, that's my question.
I would say that this is where people's skill it come into the play, right? We'll say that honest with you, I used to be a bit, in and out from the business, wasn't take this one seriously. But then I waste a lot of time, and I think that if I take it more seriously that time, then now I can definitely grow more, both in life. I regret about that time. So the way how you still be honest, but the way how you use the word, that is you directly like lead them to like how you want them to feel about the business. Okay, so and that can be a big point for you to be relayed with other people. I understand why you feel that way. Some I used to be the same thing.
And even now, sometimes I'm struggling with this and that. For example,
human will having emotion, and sometimes I'm up, sometimes I'm down. But I know that it's a part of being more mature in life instead of being a part of giving up. Right. So read more book. Okay, read more book. Use your outline. Read more book. Book is very important in this business. Okay. I'm just gonna go next one. I have a couple of things I want to train to you guys. It's not about the process, but I think that it directly affects the way how you get building this business.
Yeah, and that's it for my questions. Thank you, Wesley, Leah.
I think I asked a question. Now you have the answer.
Okay.
Or else
you guys see my iPad, right?
Now you can
So,
sleep.
You guys see the iPad?
What?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to teach you guys a bit about this one. I want to talk about value. And different, like how the business is gonna help you in life, and also like maybe some of the misconcept that when you look at the business, then why it's not able to help you at certain point. How I see is that if you in the first year in the business, you're gonna see that you grow in a whole lot. But then, if a lot of time by the second year, like if let's say you in the business and your friend not in the business, the first year, most of the time that I always see you're gonna growing more than your peer. Okay, but by the second year, especially if you not the one that maybe you haven't really decided to like make this work, or then suddenly that because if you don't build a business, then you're gonna hit the ceiling. Okay, if we don't want to go down, we're gonna hit the ceiling. We don't want to improve our skill set anymore because we can just stick with the leg that we have. Right? Then we're not gonna go more. Okay. Let's say if you in the business and you don't want to go BBI, you don't want to go platinum, or maybe you just don't want to have candidate. Then all the book leadership of communications, people skill, it's not gonna work for you. Okay. Then you're gonna hit the ceiling. You're gonna always meeting is actually repeat. Okay. The second scenario is that even you do the business. Okay. But if you don't, if you're not finished your school, if you don't really have a job, and then you like if somewhat happen, you have business, then it's great. But you don't have business. Okay. When you don't have business, and then maybe because you delay school, you delay job and career and relationship, then you're gonna see that around when it's around 22, right? When you're 18 in the business, you compare with other 18, you're more than them. But when you hit 20, you see other 21, 22 about to graduate. And the moment when you're 22, they already graduate. You're still in school. The moment you're 25 and a six-figure income job, and you beat yourself up, is that the right decision that you actually in the business? So a lot of kind of like thought process actually come into that, because maybe you had a work ethic, you want the business, but you haven't able to reflect, and you haven't able to know how to. Because you've been good with doing the work, but you're not good with thinking about how to make it work. Okay, physical work ethic is different than mental work ethic. But I want to bring up this one for you to understand. Um, if your career, if you growing from here and you don't grow from your career, then it's not. It doesn't. You don't really grow from the inside. Okay. Let me repeat it again. A lot of people are very good IBO, but it come into life. They can be a BBI, and when it comes to life, they don't know how to do an interview. They don't know how to talk with the parent, and not the right one, because it's also like lead to the reasons why you only BBI but you don't go platinum. I mean, you don't go beyond that. Because if you say the business work, then the inside needs to be first, right? If you wrote the business but the inside doesn't have it, then the outside, even in life, also doesn't have it. Don't just become a good IBO, but don't become a good human being. Okay? So how can it make sense when we say that we're doing a network marketing business, but then we don't know how to talk with non-IBO? If we have friends coming over, guests come to bonding, even it's not our team, but then we don't know how to like do those kind of like FOI form, right? How to get deep conversation, how to then it doesn't. There's a reason why your business is not wrong. Okay, because you might only focus on the work ethic in here. You don't focus on growing the inside of you. Okay, society. This is how it's worked. They say that go to school. Okay, go to school for 12 years to high school and 4 years to college. It's gonna give you a degree. Okay, and degree give you job, and then job give you salary. Okay, so salary, which is good, is give you a living. But personally, for me, that if you only have salary, it's only enough for you to make a living. It's not enough for you to be wealthy. How you spell wealthy? Is it the right way?
Yeah.
Okay, be wealthy, right? Wealthy, making a lot of money. Um, the way how you gonna be really making a lot of money in life is you need to increase your value. Okay, it's not about school. It's not about degree. Okay, I in my team I have I have a lot of people who had 2, 3 degree and they make 6-figure income and job now. I also have people that who doesn't have any degree but also make 6-figure income from job. Okay, then what the similar thing in here is it degree or is it um, no degree? Then I also have people that had no had degree but cannot find job, and then I also have people that no degree and then also cannot find job, right? So you can see that yourself in this conversation is I see you are laughing, right? So what is the difference in here? Okay, the difference is that like yesterday Tiffany showed a plan and we're asking if you are a CEO, what would be the thing that you're looking on me if you're gonna hire me, and none of them saying that the resume at school, right? Because what they're looking is more about the value. Okay, so basically, in life, I think that school is good. School give you the environment so that you can add more value into you, not just get a resume. Okay, but if you go to the interview with your degree and your resume, and somehow the boss doesn't really see your value, then what you get is only a minimum income, the salary. Okay, but somehow you're able to show your value, and other people are able to see that, then you're gonna make a lot of a lot of money. And value of you should based on demand, right? The higher the demand, the more money that you make. So there's certain way that you can increase your value is that I think your value can be the way how you look, right? I mean, it's something. It's very easy to get right away. The way how you look clean, you look sharp. English with certain people, right? And then your skill sets. If you're selling car, do you know how to talk with other people, right? If you're doing like sell, do they see the content? Do they see your leadership, right? Do they see problem problem solving, right? The more problem that you're able to solve, the more the more money that you're gonna make in everything in life, in this business, and also in life as well, right? And then it's not just proactive. People think that being proactive or being helpful is actually you increase your value. Ask yourself this question: do you think that other people also can do that thing? If other people also can do that thing, then what is the difference between you and other people? You know how you're gonna increase your job income? If your boss can see that other people doesn't have certain kind of value, choice, but only you having that, then your boss never gonna fire you. But the moment when they don't see your value, this is how I see it. Okay, I mean a lot of our downline also had a great job. Okay, but then the difference between the one who had job and confident and the one who is not confident. You know that when you kind of like there are people who had job become their parent kind of like refer them, but it's not really become their value. There are people who actually lucky when they got a job, and this is the mindset of people who actually got lucky when they got a job, when they got a good paying job, and they're always afraid, right? The mind of us that we always, what if we disappointed our boss, then our boss gonna fire us, and then we lose that job, and how can we able to find another one also make the same amount of money, right? But the one who confident and who know their value, they say that mm, I'm gonna able to find other job. If not this, I'm still gonna able to find something even more. Okay, that is when you're having value. Okay, but if you don't have the inside, and then your boss tell you, hey, you cannot go to the ball plant on Tuesday. Then you're afraid of disappointing your boss, and then you compromise everything, and then you were working for like 40 hours, and you increase to 50, and then you increase to 60, and then whatever your boss tells you have to show up at the weekend, you have to show up at the weekend, right? Why are the people who have value? They know that if they lose this one, they still can find the other one, and they're very confident about it. Okay, so there's a lot of different value. I think that you need to develop. If you build the business the right way,
Relates to what you
it shouldn't be like, oh, I'm my teammate job, but then but then I can like you only have that confidence that, but I'm confident to really bring them back. You don't feel frustrated because you're losing them. I think that we're talking with Samuel, right? I was saying that it's not just about the size of your team, right? It's about the confidence.
Oh,
It's about the confidence when you be around, even with the platinum. Do you see that you also can be same level with them? It's not like for you to be arrogant, for you to be overconfident. It's like boxing. Okay, you guys know boxing? There's a guy named Khabib. Okay, anybody know Khabib?
Yeah,
know Khabib?
MMA.
Jay, you know Khabib?
Then MMA,
Yeah.
he beats Conor
Okay,
McGregor.
Khabib is a defeated like
MMA.
MMA player. So
That guy, he's so.
he also had a whole group from where do they come from? What the country?
I think
Dagestan.
Middle East.
Dagestan, right? So
He's very arrogant.
they have a group around. I think there's 7 to 8 guys in the MMA right now. One of the, I think the most famous group that they've been carrying like world champion in MMA in multiple ways. So they say that whenever they enter the cage, okay, with the boxing, like with the MMA match,
MMA is a hexagon.
if they see other people see that the fear in other opponent, they already know that the big team gonna win. You know, it's like how can you fight your opponent? You afraid of them. You already lose your like you already lose like
Spirit.
like your spirit done already. So the same thing. I might like not diamond, but I never feel I'm anything less than diamond. Okay, there were times that I was only silver. Okay, I came to Toronto and then Chitu and Rima were putting me on the stage, and then I was very confident. I did training for 20 minutes. Then Julian asked me, "Hey Wesley, how can you only in platinum qualification, but you so like confident in front of those emeralds?" I told Julian that because I talk with other emeralds, I do see who I am, and I know that I'm gonna be emerald. I'm gonna be better than them. I'm not saying because I'm arrogant, a little bit of arrogant, yes, but I do see that I'm nothing less than them. Okay, so your mindset, if you really had a book and the audio, and you're really confident in life, you're gonna see that it doesn't matter. You can hang out with Platinum, with Phoebe, with Julian, with like, you don't feel you are less than them. Okay, and you know how to talk with your family. You know how to talk with non-IBL people outside the business. You have good conversation with them. Okay, and once you got to invest more about the inside. Okay, because only the inside can really change your life. It's not just about you launching. Let me stop sharing. Okay, it's not just about that you launch for a couple of people. Maybe you have 3 by 20, 25 people. It's gonna change. No, not those ones. It's about the inside. Okay, if you have the inside, even the team job, my team job, a couple of like it's actually a job, but they never see me losing the spirit. Because I always, what I've been hearing in this business is not just the MG1, it's not just how to do MG1, okay? But it's the knowledge in life. I know if I'm not doing Amway, I can apply for any job, I can make 6 figures from it. You need to able to see yourself like that, okay? When you see yourself like that, like you're not just going platinum in here, you're gonna make a lot of great income like from job outside. So increase your value. Okay, the whole package. Amway is not just about like success in here. When you success in here, and if that is a sustainable pin, you should able to become a great son, great daughter. You should able to become a great employee. Your boss gonna like you, and there's just so many friends around you. They want you to be like in their life. Okay, it should if somehow the business grow, but it's only in here and you don't know how to handle the outside Amway, then if somehow somewhat your pin drop, then suddenly you're gonna feel low self image and like it's very hard for you to come back. Okay, the next one. Okay, the next one I want to talk about. So that is the value thing. The next one is I want to talk about principle. Okay, so when we talk about value, we also talk about building those kind of like character, like life principle as well. If you follow principle, this is a principle. Okay, there's certain thing is called what you call principle. Principle mean that if you follow it, success gonna come. There's certain kind of different principle in like in life. It's been proven that if you have it, you're gonna success in in certain thing in life, either career or like physical look, workout, or business as well. First few thing, I think that a few principle people always talking about it. Hard working, right? Hard working, patient, never give up, right? We um, like never give up and being humble, having humility, like in the way that how you live, and then other principle is always say that soft skill, right? If you have the right soft skill, then you're gonna able to have more reward than other. If you look at few is very good at soft skill, It's not an accident. He might not even do more MG1 than you, but because he was having soft skill, there's certain skill is you need if you want your life to reach to a certain level, if you want your business to reach to a certain level, you need to develop. And not like you born and you have it. You can see me as one of the example that I wasn't really have a lot of those skills when I joined this business. I think I only had leadership, right? Because from my family, I was speaking three languages. Three languages make me confused. I don't have soft skills, right? But I was having work ethic. I was having consistency, and I was having humility. Okay, so I want to share with you guys this one. If you follow principle, then result gonna come. Okay, a farmer, when they sow a seed, they're not gonna dig the seed up and say when the rice gonna come. Okay, they know that if they drop if they drop the seed under the ground and they keep water the seed every day and then fertilize every week, then after 4 to 5 months, then gonna get them bunch of rice. Is that true? Right? Crop. They're gonna able to harvest and bags and bag of crop, right? So what they do is that they just follow the right principle, right? So the same thing in here. You need to follow principle. If you follow principle, then you're not gonna go back and question yourselves why the business is not working. Is this for me? And is it not for me? Okay. So they're one of they're one of the principle I want to talk about is humility. Okay, there are people always question it. There are some people they're very kind-hearted, but because they're not good with people skill. Okay, and like the way how they speak to other people is kind of like making them thinking that they are arrogant. It's my own thing. Okay, she's very good. She's been like helping me in life. Great. A lot of people kind of like in debt like with her, but somehow she there are people in life they always have a lot of opportunity come by, they already wealthy, and then whatever they do they always success, and then it just keep coming, right? And then there's some people in life they always complain why I never had any like opportunity come by, why I never met the right person, um, why I'm in the business for too long and it not happened to me, but it happened to other, and like they always blaming in some other thing, but they didn't realize that this is the one control it. The way how you say it, the sound, the way how you say, the way how you text, your body language, the sound like you are humble and you want to love it, right? And if it not, then like if your mind is like, oh, I want to know more about real estate, but when other people try to teach you, then you always say, oh, I know, let's buy this house. Thing. Then if you come and ask me, I'm not gonna teach you because you already cut me, right? Even though I really want to have you, but it's hard for me to teach you. So a lot of time, there are people who are actually building this business. They move to different team, and the moment they move to different team, the way how they want to go diamond, okay, but the moment when they were having little team, like little team, the way how they say and how they present themselves different, okay, it doesn't sound like they're a humble person. Maybe because the recognition is a bit too much, and then the way how they say they no longer asking how you able to do that, and then they change their language, and then that also the reason why they stop growing. I want to explain to you why there are platinum, why there are emerald, even diamond quit this business because they just follow the pin. They don't follow the principle. Okay, you need to follow principle because principle gonna help you increase value, and when your value is increased, the person you become you will see that this business is gonna bring you places that normal job never able to bring you. You will see your like first of all you was able to like get more different pin in this business. Okay, you will go like a cheaper club, you will go diamond club, and then your career you will see that probably some of the position that you never think of before the business. You probably even your friend, even your family, they never able to reach to those levels. But now you're able to reach those high. Okay, even relationship, you will see that your parent never had a great relationship before, but then now you're able to develop a family of you in a different, in a higher level. So follow principle. Don't just chase the pin, you know. And because when you follow principle, you're gonna know that it's a part of building you. It's a part of um, become a better version of yourselves, right? Then you're gonna see that those books is actually make more sense for you, right? If you're only chasing the pin from Amway, then you're probably gonna have a reading book. You're gonna have common function again and again. Okay, and then also explain the reason why your value is not increasing. Okay, so to those of you who actually like work in the business, don't just book more MG1. Learn to actually like have more value in you. The business is a good thing, but if you build the wrong way, it's gonna defer your life in a different direction, right? Suppose that direction that my life is different than my life without the business for sure. But if you build a business and you don't increase the value, your business not growing, your career not growing, it will defer the intention, the way that how mentorship is want to really guide you in life. Suppose that we want to guide you better in terms of career, you know, in terms of school, in terms of life, in terms of marriage. Business is not the reason why you cannot do this, do that, why your life has to be like this and that. Business is gonna be the reason why your life gonna excel into certain level that you never really imagined of before. Okay, so learn to do the right way. Most of the time, I say this is because usually people in the second year doing this business, uh, that I think that there's a time that they only want to do this business. They don't care about anything else. I mean, you can't. That's a good thing you focus in business, but that is the wrong thing. If you're not really growing in life, you don't have. We always talking about you become a better son, you become a better daughter, better family member, but then your family never able to see you. You do the wrong way. Okay, we've been teaching about soft skills, but then you don't know how to talk with your boss. You know, and I know that you focus. I don't really have friends outside, but I do have like relative and friend. I still have friends, you know, but whenever we need them, they always there, right? Just that our focus in here, but we never lose them. Okay, I never lose good friend outside, like especially Leah having a lot of friends outside. We never lose those friends. We still have a lot of great friendship outside. We we decide to stop like hanging out with those negative, but those good friends is still always there. Okay, and then our marriage, you see that it's working in our marriage. Then it's working even with our family member. If you in SoCal, or maybe you met my mom, met Leah mom, you can see that we spend a lot of quality time together. That's the right way. Okay, so you need to grow it. If you grow from the inside, you're gonna realize that it's not just about doing a lot of work, right? Because sometimes we're afraid of paying the price in doing the work in here. I mean, if you do the right way, you know, I see Phil work hard in the first 3 years. I didn't really see Phil work hard in terms of personal MG1 the last 3 years. Okay, but then he's still able to maintain it. He was working hard in depth in a different aspect. But through how we see that, we have a lot of time. Okay, we have a lot of time, and there's a reason why is because you can see that Phil able to maintain certain level and not jumping back is it's because he doesn't chase just people. What he chase is bigger than just the business. What he chase is a better version of himself. I think that is the biggest reward in this business, not the money, and not the penny Amway. It's who you become. And I want you all to roll more into that better version of you. You're gonna need to have more book and more audio. Okay? So if you increase more value, your life gonna be better. Okay, that's the key. I think that really much. What I want to teach you guys in here today, appreciation, value, and principle. Okay? To follow that, and yeah, I don't think they're gonna have any question after this. Probably most of them. Okay, guys. So just apply those skill set that we've been teaching, and we hope that in the couple more months we can see some of you come back to me and say that because what I've been teaching today, your business change. Okay, that is the best like appreciation that you give to me and Leah. Okay, I know it's late in Toronto, more than 1 a.m. already, and so we're gonna call it a night and great talking with you in here today. We see you guys soon at function.
See you guys next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you anh Vũ, thank you Leah.
We continue.
Bye guys. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye guys.
Okay.